Welcome back to 10-Minute Timelines. If you are new to the channel, we hope you enjoy and subscribe for more history explained in 10 minutes. The year is 1939. The world stands at a critical juncture with the memories of the Great War still fresh in the minds of many. Europe, still scarred by the horrors of the First World War, stands on the precipice of another devastating conflict. The landscapes bear the marks of past battles, and the people are haunted by the loss and destruction. The Treaty of Versailles, meant to ensure peace, has instead sown the seeds of resentment and instability. Its harsh terms have left nations like Germany feeling humiliated and vengeful. In Germany, a charismatic but dangerous leader, Adolf Hitler, has risen to power, promising to restore his nation to greatness and avenge the humiliations of the past. His fiery rhetoric and grand promises have captivated a nation desperate for change. With each passing day, the drums of war beat louder, threatening to consume the continent in a maelstrom of violence. The military parades and displays of power are a stark reminder of the growing threat. Across Europe, nations watched with growing unease as Hitler's Germany rearmed, violating the terms of the Treaty of Versailles. Diplomatic efforts to contain the situation seemed increasingly futile. The annexation of Austria into the Third Reich in 1938 had sent shockwaves through Europe, demonstrating Hitler's boldness and the weakness of international resolve. But it was Hitler's aggressive demands for territory in Czechoslovakia that truly set the stage for war. His ambitions were clear, and the world braced for the inevitable. The Munich Agreement, signed in September 1938, was a desperate attempt to appease Hitler and avoid conflict. Leaders hoped that by conceding to his demands, they could maintain peace. It would prove to be a fatal miscalculation. The agreement only emboldened Hitler, setting the stage for the most devastating conflict the world had ever seen. After having invaded Poland, Denmark and Norway, Hitler set his sights on further expansion. On May 10, 1940, Hitler unleashed Operation Yellow, his audacious plan to conquer France and secure Germany's western border. The attack began with a diversionary thrust through the neutral countries of Belgium, Luxembourg and the Netherlands, drawing the Allied armies north into what they believed would be the main battleground. This was precisely what Hitler had hoped for. While the Allies rushed north to confront the German feint, a much larger and more powerful German force, spearheaded by panzer divisions secretly massed in the dense Ardennes forest. While the French military planners recognized the Ardennes as a potential invasion route, they underestimated the speed and effectiveness of a concentrated panzer assault through the region. The rapid German breakthrough proved devastating to Allied defences. On May 13th, the German panzers surged through the Ardennes, smashing through weak French defences and crossing the Meuse River at Sedan. The Allied armies were caught completely off guard. While the Dutch and Belgian armies had anticipated a German invasion and constructed defensive positions, including the formidable Fort Eben-Emael, they were unable to counter the unprecedented speed and coordination of the German assault. The rapid airborne and armoured attacks shattered resistance before an effective defence could be mounted. Their defences, designed to withstand a more traditional invasion, were quickly overrun by the speed and ferocity of the German attack. The Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, played a crucial role in the early victories, bombarding enemy positions and disrupting communication lines. Despite fierce resistance, the Dutch army was forced to surrender on May 14th, just 4 days after the German invasion began. The Belgian army held out for longer, but with their lines shattered and their flanks exposed, they too were compelled to lay down their arms on May 28th. The fall of Belgium and the Netherlands sent shockwaves through Europe, demonstrating the devastating effectiveness of Blitzkrieg tactics. The German breakthrough at Sedan proved decisive. With the Allied armies drawn north into Belgium, the German panzers raced westward towards the English Channel, cutting off the British Expeditionary Force and a large portion of the French army. The speed of the German advance was astonishing. Within days, the panzers had reached the coast, trapping hundreds of thousands of Allied soldiers in a rapidly shrinking pocket. The situation for the Allies was desperate. The British Expeditionary Force, along with French and Belgian troops, were forced to evacuate from the beaches of Dunkirk in a daring operation that would come to be known as the Miracle of Dunkirk. While the evacuation saved hundreds of thousands of soldiers from capture, it also left France vulnerable to the German onslaught. With the British Expeditionary Force evacuated and the French army in disarray, the Germans launched their final offensive against Paris on June 5th. The French government fled the capital, declaring Paris an open city to avoid its destruction. On June 14, 1940, German troops marched into Paris, greeted by the stunned silence of a defeated city. The following day, France signed an armistice with Germany, ending hostilities. Under the terms of the armistice, Germany occupied northern and western France, including Paris. A puppet government, led by Marshal Philippe Pétain, was established in the spa town of Vichy, in unoccupied southern France. The fall of France, once considered the mightiest army in Europe, sent shockwaves through the world. The German occupation of France was a dark chapter in the nation's history. The Germans imposed harsh restrictions on daily life, rationing food and supplies and censoring the press. Thousands of French citizens were deported to labor camps in Germany, while others joined the resistance, waging a clandestine war against the occupiers. In the occupied countries of Belgium and the Netherlands, the story was much the same. The Germans plundered the economies of these nations, seizing resources and industrial capacity to fuel their war machine. Yet, even in the face of brutal oppression, the spirit of resistance flickered, fueled by the hope of liberation. If you enjoyed this 10-minute timeline, please consider helping our channel grow by liking, sharing and subscribing.